Hi and welcome back to the Homespun Hive. My name is Shelby and it's been a long time since we've made a video. If you've seen some of our other videos, you might notice that this definitely does not look like Southern California, and that's because at the end of 2022 we sold our home and we moved up to very Northwest Washington. My husband and I are on the property with our in-laws. It's about 4.5 acres, and on this acreage we have an 80-year-old apple orchard with a few pear trees and lots of cherry trees, as well as a few unfinished, half-finished, half-done cabins. The cabins are really cool, but they are definitely not livable, so we are currently living in our trailers. But it's nice to appreciate the interesting architecture on the cabins, the small details. There's a lot going on with these cabins, and at the same time, there's a lot of us scratching our head trying to figure out what the thought process was when they were built. And although I had to sell my other flock when we moved, I actually found a lovely local person who was getting rid of her entire flock because she was moving. So now we have about 33 chickens. 2 of those are roosters. We're so excited to have a full-grown flock with us right now and just have the sustainability and stability of having food in our own backyard and the ability to make more food if we'd like to move into meat chickens, considering that we have roosters. I'm still fermenting our chicken feed. It just looks a little bit different. Right now I'm using 5-gallon buckets and putting the feed in there and then walking those buckets over to a water line spigot that we have sticking out of the ground, filling them up, and then bringing them back and letting them sit inside the chicken coop with their lids on to ferment for 3 days at a time. One of the cabins has this really neat sunroom towards the back of it. It's full of really cool windows, and right now we're actually using it to store feed and most of our animal supplies. Something that I've been really happy about since we've moved here is the ability to find decent quality organic animal feed really close to us. We live in a really rural area, and there are a lot of options to find good quality clean feed at a really affordable price. Definitely something that was much harder to find when we lived in California. And something new to us is sheep. We have 1 Icelandic Shetland mix ram with the horns there, and then 2 Katahdin ewes. The ewes came from our neighbor. Well, the ram also came from our neighbor, but he was just a trade that the neighbor had received. He didn't want him, and our amazing neighbor actually gave us these sheep. Having sheep has definitely been a little bit of a learning curve. They're pretty docile animals. They can be flighty and shy, but so curious and really cute. Both of the ewes here have been bred and are due later this month. They're both first-time mothers, and what we're planning to get from these sheep are lambs to fill our freezer, as well as milking animals. Katahdin sheep are not normally milked, but some people do it, and I've never milked an animal, but I'm happy and willing to try so we can have our own sheep's milk. Once we started looking into the soil of the property here, a lot of the soil has been covered with blackberry vines for years and years. And then some of the soil, like out in the orchard, has just been subject to a lot of rainfall, obviously because we're in Washington. But a lot of that water just runs right through the orchard area and really carries away a lot of its nutrients. A lot of it's very depleted. So what I'm doing here is the sheep are in a movable electrical fence, And this area was where their shelter was previously. So once we moved the sheep, we were left with this area full of hay and manure from them. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put it in that wheelbarrow and then bring it over more closer towards the orchard where we have a few other piles of things. And the plan for the used hay or straw is to shred it up and then put it over the orchard area or any other areas that we think need more nutrients and just a little bit more help with the soil. Over by that straw that we plan to shred, we also have a big old pile of steaming manure, and we're just waiting for a good time to go ahead and spread that out on the orchard. Now that we have more room on this property, I'd really like to look into more regenerative farming approaches and how we move our animals and how we garden on the property. Another thing that the sheep are doing for us is kind of helping us move towards that regenerative agriculture, in that wherever we move them, they completely strip those blackberry plants of leaves, and that makes them so much easier to remove. But it also is almost like a closed loop where you have the sheep and the sheep eat the leaves, and then we are getting meat and milk and wool from the sheep. We're definitely doing a lot of things for the first time. We're learning a lot of new things, and we're looking at our plans and our options from a lot of different viewpoints. I would say our goal here is to learn how to be more self-sustainable and also how to give back to the earth that we're using, and to teach our kids that it's okay to work hard and live contently with what you have, save your money, and just have a cleaner, slower lifestyle. Well, that about wraps it up for this video. Thank you so much for listening, and I look forward to sharing with you all more of what we're doing and what our plans are.